Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about a simple product that can make big differences for your 3D printing. So first things first, I have to unbox this. So it has the lock lip tab. Open this up. So first of all, bam, there's that. Okay. So this, is a bag of baggies. I'll see what this is in a second. And then there's another bag of baggies. There's supposed to be 20 bags in this packaging, so I assume there's 10 each. Apparently there is a 2-year warranty. It doesn't look like you have to register anything. It looks like maybe you can just provide your sales information if you bought it on Amazon or something like that. So yeah, these are vacuum seal bags by a company called VacBird. Literally VAC and then spelled like bird. So let's open this up and see what's inside. I already assume I know what's inside, but what it looks like. So this says 50 kPa on it. I don't know what that means, but you can use either USB-C or USB-A, I think it's called, normal USB, to use this little vacuum sealer. Gotta have it plugged in for it to work. It doesn't charge. But yeah, so for those who don't know, these are primarily used for when you live in basically any climate that has moisture. You use it on filament that you want to store away that is hygroscopic, meaning that it absorbs water. And these theoretically would help cancel that out and prevent it from happening in storage, because there will be no fresh air in the package by the time you're done. So let's open these up and see what there's to see. Okay. So these look very similar to just normal food sealing bags, which maybe they are the same, but they supposedly have made sure that the size is correct for 3D printing spools. I was sent this product, so thank you to VacBird for that. So one thing that makes this a little different compared to some other vacuums is that this comes with a silicone spool tie. So that's a nice little feature. Okay, so initially my first use of the vacuum was actually not great. I was having very much difficulties trying to get the vacuum to work properly, at least in a timely manner. But I think I have been able to figure it out a little bit better after talking to the company. So I had this misconception that laying the bag out flat will have the valve get blocked by the back, and personally I still think that might be true part of the time. However, it's kind of necessary in order to get the best possible seal and the best success rate for putting the vacuum on the valve, which you probably don't know what I'm talking about because I probably cut out the other area. But here is my successful one. This is Polymaker 85A TPU, and as you can see, there is absolutely no air. It's sucked in. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like divoted in on the sensor here because the air has been sucked out so tightly. I got a really good seal on this one. So I'm going to try and demonstrate that now with my very first TPU I ever got, which this is the Zero 95A TPU, Z-I-R-O. And this actually has a different box, so this may actually be more accommodating for the bags, because that's one thing that you may be worried about, is that if the bags don't fit into the box, what's the point? But they do, especially once you get the air sucked out, they fold in pretty decently. You just gotta tuck these corners into here. Let me get this actually folded in properly. And then there you go. So yeah, they fit in boxes fairly decently. I mean, I guess they'd fit in better technically than regular bags, because with regular bags it's still so difficult to squeeze out all of that air. Even if you do have resealable bags, it's still so difficult to just try and squeeze that all out manually and then also get the proper seal before more air comes back in the bag. So even if your plastic does come with a resealable bag, these may end up being even better. And this is a 1 kilogram spool. It doesn't have the 1 kilogram of plastic in it, but that doesn't matter for the size constraints, obviously. So you open this up. Very firm bag, so you gotta widen it for your first use. And then you should just be able to, it's round, so it's a little bit difficult to do sometimes, but yeah, just slide that in there. Basically perfectly sized for 3D printing filament spools, or at least 1 kilogram spools. I don't have any 3 kilogram spools or anything like that, but my guess is that those probably won't fit. Anything 1,000 grams or smaller should be able to work, obviously. And so I'm just sitting here sealing this up very firmly. These, since these snaps are a strong seal, they're a bit tougher to fully get closed. So you got to really make sure that you close this up very tightly. Make sure all of these snaps are snapped in place, and here we are. So now I have not manually pushed out any of the air, even though you might be able to try and do that to try and help the vacuum just have a faster process of removing the air. But like I said before, it's already hard enough trying to manually squeeze out the air with the normal bags, and then this has the tougher seal, so it might be even more difficult to try and manually take it out and then get the seal before more air just comes in and removes whatever you just did. Now, one thing I would have liked is if this cord was like at least like a foot or two longer, because I find myself usually just barely not being able to reach what I need with how this cord is. But you also can get USB extension cords that just USB male to USB female. So, you know, it's not a deal-breaking issue. Okay, so here is the bag. Obviously we have the seal right here. Okay, so here's the seal, and there's a little nozzle that's in here. You want to try and get that nozzle lined up with the center there. In my experience, the best way to do this is just kind of trial and error. You want to try and get this flattened out, but the air is actually keeping it from being flat right now. So then there's a little latching button here. I don't know if that made it in the last clip, but another thing of note is that the button on here appears to be a latching toggle button, because when I plugged it in, it just started going, which I did press the button before. But yeah, it's latching toggle button, and then it just goes. Let's just turn it on, see if it works. So it's latching onto the plastic right now, but it's hard to tell if it's actually vacuuming anything right now. Let me zoom out so that you can see if the bag is actually vacuuming. So yeah, sometimes this takes a couple tries. It's not completely foolproof, but it does work. It works very well when you finally get that right proper seal on the valve. And that's one downside of this product, is that it's very hard to tell when it's not working and when it is working, especially initially when there is a bunch of air. So far, I don't think I've gotten a single proper seal on here yet to actually suck any of the air out. And so I don't know if there's anything they could do to improve this. Maybe if they put like a little X-dented ring, like a little lifted ring around here, so then this could fit on the outside of that ring, and then it just has an easy alignment that would force it to be in the right place to get the suction. That is the only thing that I can think of. Or maybe they could widen this ring, unless the nozzle has to be exactly over the nozzle or the valve. I don't know. It can be kind of frustrating, but once it works, it's very good. I think a lot of these vacuums are actually like this, where they're very difficult to actually get the proper seal in the right spot, but then, you know, once you get them to function, they work really good. See, because now it's actually working. It's very slowly starting to contract on itself, which is very weird, because it seems like the back of the bag would be blocking this the air from being able to leave, but right now it's actually working. At least it was. I don't know if it's still working. Now it is. You have to make sure you hold it at the right spot, because it is very easy for the seal to have a little pocket, and then it'll have a very low whistling, and then you just won't get the vacuuming effect at all. Okay, so it seems like it's done. Got a little bit tingly in my fingers because of the vibrating of the thing. But yeah, here is our final, product. Since the plastic is mostly used, the bag is actually kind of warping, or not warping, but it's conforming inside of it, which makes storage a lot easier. And then we have the indented, well, this one's a little bit creased. That's probably my fault, but it does have the indented inside, so I don't know for sure how you know exactly when all the air is taken out or when enough air is taken out. That's probably just a personal preference and observation based on your use. But yeah, so once I finally got the suction, it was a fairly easy process, obviously. So now the last thing is to just put your filament back in your storage. Now this is a bit of a different box, but I would expect it to have looser tolerances than maybe the Polymaker. So this one you could probably just slide it in and it's in there. Just fold this up, bam, and then you can't really see the filament, which that kind of ruins that, but maybe if you put this in, you know, the proper way, I might be able to. No, it still kind of blocks it, but you know, that's just a side effect of what's going to happen there. It's not like, that's not a foolproof box design anyway, to show what was actually in the box. So yeah, I think that this product could be very useful for people, especially who live in more humid climates, or especially year-round. You probably obviously need dry boxes if you're printing with stuff like that anyway, so that you can actually print it without it just getting completely all moistured up while it's printing. But when you're not using the filament, it's a lot easier to purchase some bags like this, because I believe it was like $15 for the set of bags and the vacuum, something like that. I'm not sure about the exact price, but it's around there, I'm pretty sure, at least at the moment. But yeah, you can't, unless you're real bougie, and then you can't buy filament dryers for every single filament roll you have of these types of filaments. So if you want to get yourself a set of these bags and the vacuum, there should be an affiliate link in the description below. It would really help me out if you would use it, because I don't currently make any money off of any of these videos. There are also other links in the description to help me out, so please check those out as well. If you found this video informational, please leave a like. This channel is normally a 3D printing and music channel talking about guitar, drums, and other music-related topics, and also just generally whatever I want sometimes. So if that sounds good, please consider subscribing. That's all I have to say for now, so I'm going to say bye-bye.